now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities, and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dinny Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome to another incredible episode of Vigilantes Radio live right here on iHeartRadio. And I am your host, Dini. We have a very special guest for you guys, so you definitely want to stick around for that. And as a matter of fact, text your buddies, family members, or even share it on social media right now and let them know that we are about to dive deep into another interview. Before I bring my guest on, I do want to say that you have to go on ahead. When you make the effort to move ahead, all kinds of things will be there to push you back. You got to move on ahead anyway. When you set out to truly make a difference, circumstances and events will often seem to conspire against you. But I believe you should go ahead and do what it takes to make a difference anyway. The world would often try to pick a fight with you, but you don't have to fight. Just move forward. When life pushes against you, turn that energy around and let it push you forward. Maintain a clear and meaningful sense of direction, and whatever happens to come your way will move you in the direction that you've chosen. Your will to move forward is ultimately stronger than anything that could hold you back. Make it positive, fill it with love, with purpose, and you are already on your way. My name is Coach Dini, and change is possible. Are you ready?
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Well, let's go.
All right. Again, welcome to the show. You're listening to VRL. That's Vigilantes Radio live right here on iHeartRadio. And I am your host, Dini. Our interviews are designed to go beyond music, news, books, art, acting, films, technology, education, entrepreneurship, entertainment, spirituality, and sometimes even past that thing that we call the ego. Our interviews are designed to go behind the scenes and into the minds of these incredible human beings. You know, the ones that were out there giving it their all for me, for you, and for the world. Well, today's guest is more than an artist. She's an emotional alchemist, blending nostalgic 80s flair with modern authenticity. Forgetmyname has carved a unique path in alternative pop. Her latest release, Daydream, marks a powerful return after a year-long hiatus, offering lyrical honesty and lush sonic textures. With raw songwriting and fearless vulnerability, she transforms personal experiences into musical medicine. My language. An artist of intuition, evolution, and emotional truth. Please join me in saying welcome, friend, to Forget My Name. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you?
Doing good, how are you?
Good. Kind words.
All right. Well, welcome to the show. We are excited that you are here. But before we really just dive into everything, what's been on your heart and mind lately as you step back into this new era of music?
Oh man, just work, honestly. I'm currently here in the studio actually, and just been trying to stay focused and really just hide away in a way, just for my better, and to kind of grow, and sometimes you have to just be a hermit for a little bit. So it's kind of what I've been on lately.
All right. So let's start at the top with Daydream. What was the emotional spark behind this record?
Like I said before, it was like definitely a little drought that I went through. I don't think it was a drought. I just think I just hadn't put myself in a position to want to really peel those like layers of so much emotions and things that I was going through in this relationship at that time. And I don't know, just things felt unfair a little bit, and I kind of just needed to get it out. And I think that when I started working on the record with the producer Brandy, I kind of had that like feeling of like not wanting to be angry about it, but just like, hey, like I remember like that first sentence was just kind of like, hey, did you think of me? Like, did you? It didn't even have to be romantic. It was just like, do you matter to like the rest? You know, does anything matter? Like, I put it in my mind, you know, and yeah, that kind of just was a little freeing in a way, and we just started writing from there. And it was just kind of like the first song that we really wrote together, and I knew was going to be like the beginning of something, and you know, stuck to the sounds that I wanted on top of that, and just being able to really feel comfortable, and you just kind of know when the lyrics feel right and when you're singing it, and you know, the message it kind of conveys, at least for me.
Yeah. I know you said that it felt freeing, but how did it really feel putting it out after being away from music for a year?
There's always that vulnerability. I think that you kind of have to let go of for a little bit in order to write the best music. You know, it's just kind of putting that to the side and just writing exactly how I felt. And, you know, the feelings of going through that or thinking that someone, you know, or that maybe the outside world is looking in is not giving what you're giving is a little like gut wrenching. So yeah, the feeling itself was hard, but I mean, putting it out there, and I feel like letting people kind of make it what they do, you know, like I do as a fan of music itself, you know, just kind of relate it to that. And yeah, I just hope they're doing that as well.
Yeah. Do you leave your music up for interpretation?
Yeah, I mean, to me it's very personal, but yeah, I definitely, there are some lines that are just like too personal. I don't think anyone's going to click, so they can kind of just make it their own. You know, I feel like there are little lines that I've made that I don't think anyone really knows exactly what they mean, but in their own context, it could be so much other things. Or even after I've released the song, I'll catch something that I did, you know, that in that time I didn't understand it, and now I just kind of like, you know, I'll look at it like in retrospect, and you know, it was kind of like a subconscious thing.
Yeah. You mentioned vulnerability too. How much is too much vulnerability? I don't think I've reached too much. I mean, I guess it's always scary, but I don't think there's too much right now. Especially with writing, I just feel like I'm in such a place where it is therapeutic, you know, and well, now that I like did start getting into it with Daydream last year, you know, it really put me in this mindset of wanting to say the story, or wanting to, you know, use it as my therapy, as my, you know, my own personal, you know, journal. Yeah. Is this how you define being authentic as well?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, everything that I make and everything that I do, everything I write is just really personal to me. I think I overthink a lot of the lyrics until they sit right. Even if it's like the right sentence, it has to be like the right words to express and really hit that feeling the way when I listen to a song or music or read lyrics with it, it hits me, you know?
Yeah. So I used to be an artist, and I had this really bad breakup. My marriage crumbled. So I wanted to write a song about it. It took 2 years to write this song.
Yeah,
yeah, it's a long time.
Did you find yourself like changing like your perspective, or?
No, it was just hard to write this song. But it eventually came out, and it was everything I wanted to say. And I was like, why did it take so long?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I feel like, you know, there's so much therapy in writing it just like not even making the song, just like writing stuff down. And while it is therapeutic, it's also tough, you know. It's also like a whole process of putting pen to paper and really saying how you actually feel without it being, you know, just real, you know. It's a lot.
Yeah. Is there a such thing as being emotionally blocked?
Not for me. I feel like, if anything, I feel a lot all the time. If I could be emotionally blocked for a little bit, I might take you up on it. At least for a little bit. I just feel like sometimes I feel too much, and that's just like since I was little. So I guess art was a really, really cool way to kind of just let that out.
Yeah. Has songwriting ever surprised you with the way it came out?
Yeah, definitely.
How so?
There's just been so many times where I've like written something and I, in the moment, didn't understand it, but it felt so right. And then I will look back at the song, and not even like maybe like when it's like in the mixing phase or whatever, and it just means a whole other thing to me, and it's just like a amazing revelation. And I learn more about myself. I learn, you know, just kind of how I really feel, even if I'm trying to like write something in a certain, you know, way. Like I have a song that's coming out soon, and I tried to make a happier kind of like things end well, you know, dating people, whatever the case is. And like, because I wasn't necessarily in that mindset, I found myself like ending the words with like set me free or let me go or stuff like that. And it's just so subconscious because it sounds good. It talks about something completely different, but in the end, it's actually, you know, what you really meant comes out, regardless of how you're trying to write it or not. You know, it just comes out that way.
Yeah. So the way that the universe convinced you of your stage name happened in an Uber ride, along with other occurrences. But tell us about that Uber ride.
Yeah. I was actually leaving the studio, and I think I had to let my girlfriend borrow my car or something that day because I was going to be there all day. And I Ubered back home, and it was this musician that had picked me up, and he was just like asking me about stuff, and he was older, and he was really cool and nice, and he was telling me like, you know, where are you going to drop music as, whatever, and I just kind of told him like I had no idea. But that I was just kind of like, you know, figuring it out. I was trying to just make the music first. And yeah, I remember him telling me like, it's just going to come to you and you're just going to know. Like, you're just going to know. And I think like not that long after, I took another Uber ride.
Oh, yeah?
Back to the studio. And I realized that my plate number in my car was FMN for like the past year, and I never clicked it ever. And yeah, it was just kind of like a weird affirmation for me. It was just, I had used the username like here and there for like Twitter accounts and stuff like that when I was younger, but never really like thought I would use it. And yeah, it just clicked. It just felt right. It was kind of, I knew I wanted to create a world around my music, and I didn't want to necessarily be, you know, Nicole Morales. You know, it was just more of a yeah, I think it went with more with what I wanted to do with my music.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like this name reflects parts of you even you didn't expect?
Yeah. Slowly uncovering it more and more, and it makes me excited because I want to do so much more with it as well. So yeah, I think it's really cool that it just kind of keeps fitting more and more in.
It's so cool. I wish I thought of it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's talk vintage vibes. What is it about the 80s that really resonate with you so deeply?
It's just what I grew up with. Just the background music of my whole childhood, honestly. My parents listened to so much music while they did everything, on top of just loving to just sing, and they'll just plug in the mic when I was younger and just start singing and dancing and stuff. It was, yeah, just like a very nice background to my childhood is how I think of it. In both Spanish and English, and like, I lived with a lot of family at one point in Connecticut, and it was really cool to just kind of go into room to room. You know, you'd have like my mom playing music and her sisters playing music, and then like her brothers playing music, and my grandparents playing music, and every room was like a different genre. And it was like that for a long time, but it was all consistent with the 80s, whether it was, Spanish slow rock or like English pop, indie kind of things. There's just so much variety. And yeah, that kind of nostalgic sound is like, I feel like my whole childhood. And I definitely wanted to bring that in to the things that I do. Not lock myself in. I'm definitely exploring a lot and I'm having a lot of fun with it, but it definitely means a lot to me to kind of keep a little bit of that sound within Forget My Name.
Definitely. I love the 80s. I was an 80s kid. How do you balance the nostalgic sound with modern relatability?
Honestly, it's just a combination of like what I've listened to and what I still listen to and like what I'm still learning from and exploring, with just kind of having this nostalgic vibe to it always that I just seem to always go back to in production. But yeah, I don't think it's like forced or anything, or I don't like make it a point to do it. But if, if something feels right, I'll definitely stay with it.
Mm-hmm. You've once said that music is like living through our parents' memories. Paint a picture for us. Forget My Name. What was it like growing up in your household, and what kind of music did your parents introduce you to?
Oh, so many. In my childhood, I had like different stages. I had a stage where I lived in Peru with my dad's family and my mom, and they were a whole vibe. I learned a lot from my uncles there. A lot of like English rock, like Blink-182, Linkin Park, Papa Roach kind of stuff. And then my grandparents listened to like super old like 60s and 70s music that I also loved. And then my parents, a lot of ballads, bachata, Sinead O'Connor. Like they were just such music fans that they really explored like everything. And it's so vast because you have the whole English world and the whole Spanish world and genres between both and artists between both, and it's just so many. It's like overload. But yeah, they really explored, and they like, my mom could be listening to Sinead O'Connor one day and then like Olga Tañón or like the Gypsy Kings from Spain like the next, and they would just such variety.
Indeed. How do those influences sneak into your processes and creative choices?
My dad would always like tell me when I was younger to like really look into the artists, and like he was like a huge fan of like writing down the lyrics and then breaking it down and like what each line by line meant, which when I was younger is really annoying to me, because I just wanted to hear the song. But now I've like found myself doing that with my friends a lot and just like finding a song that just hits the right spot, and I found myself in the car like, did you hear what he said? Did you hear it? And just kind of, really breaking down the lyrics. So, I mean, it's definitely bled into a lot of the things that I still do and the way I kind of choose sounds. And the way I write, too. They had a lot of influence with it because, yeah, my dad made it such a point for, like, what lyrics mean and how the lyrics were said in order to, like, mean more, to, like, kind of hit harder. And so, yeah, I've definitely taken all of that in.
Yeah. Coming back after a hiatus is never easy. What challenges did you have to overcome during the year away?
Honestly, so much, just mental and, just kind of so much self-belief that you need in this, and just kind of be resilient. And I needed to make sure that I was making music that was actually really making me happy, and not that the music wasn't before or anything. It was just I needed to be in a headspace where I wanted to actually write and focus on the things. And in order for me to do that, I needed to be in a state of mind where I was ready to face a lot of things. So I think it took me a little bit, but overall I'm really happy because I feel like I really zoned into like knowing what I want to release and how I want to do it and be consistent. And I think that was a really, really big thing for me. In order to be consistent, I took a little bit of time off, but I was working, I was still trying and writing and getting stuff done so that once I did come back, it was it wasn't like in and out. It was just fully back, you know? So yeah, it's exciting, honestly. Now it's just having all this music ready that I actually really, really believe in and love and listen to as a music fan myself. So
yeah,
nice.
Was there ever a moment that you doubted returning back to music?
Yeah, I mean, every day you kind of doubt yourself as an artist, I feel like. I mean, I'm speaking for myself at least. Like, it's scary, you know? You're just kind of telling your story and posting and releasing, and you're just hoping people like it, I guess.
Yeah. What finally told you that it was time?
I think the consistency of that I was working in and the kind of flow that I found myself in, especially with working with my new producer, Brandy, was just easy, and I like that. You know, I like that for me in the studio to just kind of feel free to express myself and kind of have such a good friend, like, to guide me and just kind of have someone you trust that kind of, like, you know, is not going to steer you wrong, you know? And yeah, it's been great. And once I started really, really, like I said, listening to these songs and enjoying them and like a music fan, enjoying them and wanting to listen to them, and yeah, it just kind of gave me the confidence that I knew that I needed to keep going and to start sharing it, you know?
Indeed, indeed. All right, guys, we're about to jump into the single Daydreaming, and then we'll be back with more Forget My Name. All right, stay tuned. Here we go.
Pretend, believe all the lies.
Oh boy, that's as real as it get. We've all had those conversations in our head at some point in time, right? Oh boy. Ooh, Forget My Name. You're making some memories bubble up. All right, let's go ahead and bring Forget My Name back. Hey.
Hello.
All right. Yeah, you're a true artist. Yeah, you invoke some emotions and whatnot. You know, you do your job well.
I appreciate it. Thank
You
you.
had me reminiscing. Oh man.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So I believe that some artists, write to understand themselves. As you said, it could be therapeutic. Do you ever listen back to a song and learn something new about your own past?
Yeah. I think the conversations that happened. I wrote it in, I guess, a more of a petty kind of mindset, and looking back at it, it was just kind of like holding a mirror, and to me, it's just like a whole different space for how I see the song and the lyrics than to the morning I wrote it.
Has any lyric helped you, make peace with something?
Yeah, writing it itself, not always necessarily making it into a song, but yeah, definitely like the writing process and going through these like emotions, and just writing them down definitely helps in a way of processing them. It just also takes a lot to write them down and process them. That's why I feel it kind of took me a little bit to just kind of be like, okay, this is what I want to put out, and this is what I want to say, and I feel like that's like the step after putting it to paper and doing the processing.
Yeah. All right. So looking ahead, what does this new era look like?
Oh, it's exciting. Being so proactive, honestly, I'm really happy. Lots of singles, and then hopefully a bigger project towards the end of the year that I've been working on for a while. So trying to do that. But yeah, consistency, definitely music. I don't really want to step back from this at all now that I kind of got the ball rolling again.
Can we expect the project or EP in the remainder of this year?
Hopefully, yeah. That's the aim. Within this end of this year, beginning of next, for sure. But I have so much music that I actually want to release before it, and just kind of like that will be its own world.
Yeah. And where can our listeners connect with you on the internet?
I just Instagram, Spotify. Forgetmyname.
And listeners, just like that, if you need those links, I will have them in the description of this episode and in the show notes. So all you guys have to do is just click the links and you'll connect directly with Forgetmyname and listen to more music and catch up on our life. And just like that, guys, we've been transported into the world of Forgetmyname, where vulnerability meets vision and 80s nostalgia finds a new voice. And oh, this voice is glorious. The music is awesome.
Thank you.
Indeed. From the creation of Daydream to the universe nudging her to pick up the pen again, which we are grateful for, we got a front row seat to the mind of an artist who creates with purpose and with presence. If this conversation inspired you, make sure to subscribe to Forgetmyname on all streaming platforms. Follow her on socials for more upcoming drops and visuals. Make sure you subscribe to Vigilantes Radio Live, leave a rating, share this episode, or buy me a coffee over at buymeacoffee.com/Vigilantes Radio. And until next time, keep dreaming and keep creating. Thank you so much. Forgetmyname.
Thank you. Okay.
Take care. Bye.
Peace to all. My name is Deanie, and I am the host of Vigilantes Radio Live. I think that we are beyond just asking cool questions and getting cool responses. I think that we are here as creatives to provide an example that you can do things different outside of expectations, because some of us simply were not born into the club. But there is perhaps a door, window, or back gate that we can leave a clue for you try and get it right. Pursuing your dreams and learning from mistakes may be tough, but regret is tougher. To book your interview, email us at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. That's a V as in victorious. Or visit onlyonemediagroup.com. I'm counting on you. Heaven, we all are counting on you to step into your purpose and your passion. You are listening to Vigilantes Radio Live on iHeartRadio, providing you with an opportunity to dive deeper.
From the start, the universe said I can't keep you. Lucky for you, goodbye seems.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com.